Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we talk all things reality TV or whatever. I'm your host, Pharaoh, and I'm here with our co-host, Lily. How you doing, Purr?
Girl, my
Girl.
background was dirty. Okay. I wasn't all the way prepared. I mean, I feel like I didn't get a full warning. But I am here. I am not excited to talk about this week at all. This is a very, very, very bad week. I don't know about y'all, but when the black people aren't running the game anymore, I'm bored.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy to talk about the other girls, but I'm
Happy is a big
bored.
word.
I'm bored. I'm bored.
Oh.
Bored is an understatement. Actually, like I'm tired. I'm exhausted. Actually.
So as you see, we are here to be talking about Big Brother Canada 10, week 7, question mark? And
Exclamation point.
basically, ain't exclamation point, and basically ain't nothing happening, child. Girl, what happened? They was gone. Oh, her mom got evicted, baby daddy got evicted. That's sad. But we over at this point. It seems like it's been fucking years. Um,
Honestly,
child, it seems like it's been years. Well, first of all, Herman is the first member of the jury. So that is very important. We can talk a little bit about. Should we get into it when we get into it? Right? No, we'll talk about this. He did mention how he was feeling about some of the house guests,
mm-hmm.
and that is important. So what he said was, um, about Betty. I recall him saying he's fine with Betty. He's like, she's okay. I wouldn't not vote her. I wouldn't just vote her. That's what I remember what he said about Betty. I honestly don't remember many people. I do remember Helena. He said, in the interview, the interviewer was like, how do you feel about Helena's game? And would you be willing to vote for Helena? And what would you rate Helena on how likely you are to vote them and how unlikely? And
Mm-mm.
her mom was like, the lowest is what?
Helena,
He was like,
Helena,
Helena, she's in the game.
which I wholeheartedly agree with. And he also said about Summer. He said honestly, like he has a respect for Summer's game because if you can last this long without being nominated and kind of get to the end, like she has to be pulling like some sort of strings or something like that.
Mhm.
And then also one that's really interesting, he mentioned he would never vote for Kevin, like at
He
all.
did
He
say
has
that.
he has zero respect at all for Kevin's game. And I think that has a lot to do with the way Kevin is playing his game. He comes across as this very passive person who isn't really making moves. And if you aren't really in on what he's doing, you don't know what he's doing. So people like Marty, JC Lynn, Moose, Herman, these are 4 votes in the jury that I can see being like, what the hell did Kevin do?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. He said he respected Marty and Gino and Moose and Josh. So basically, he's respecting some people. He doesn't really respect Helena or Kevin's game, and he was like, Betty's okay. So it's basically how Herman's thinking about his jury votes, which is important. So we get into the week, and they're going to play Buzzkill, but then they get my summer girl, my summer out, my
they was
girl,
caught trying to
whatever.
rig.
They was caught trying to rig, and I couldn't even get it out because I was trying to be nice. They was caught trying to rig, and they got caught twice because it was on feeds, and it was like, ooh.
And we was clocking. But see, that made me think, how many HOH competitions have there been where things went wrong and they didn't get caught because there wasn't no
Mhm,
fees? Because think about it, they wouldn't have stopped Buzzkill if we didn't say anything. Like, we have to be
mhm,
realistic. The comp was going on for about 30 minutes when they reset it.
mhm.
Like, that's terrifying to think. Like,
That's very terrifying to think. That girl literally, we saw her buzzer. Her buzzer was not buzzing when she was buzzing. That was very interesting. But they redid the comp, and Gino won his second HOH of the season.
so it really didn't
Yay!
even matter.
So going into this week, everybody was going to target Marty, including Gino. So we was very prepared for Gino 2 HOHs to get out his 2 closest allies, Kyle and Marty. I was here
And I was
for it.
happy about it this time.
I was here for it. He was like, do what you gotta do, whatever. So the target of the week is Marty. So Gino's like, look, I'm on Moose and Summer because I don't have a deal with Moose and Summer. Gino has a final four with Betty, JC Lynn, and Josh. He also has a final four with Kevin, Helena, and JC Lynn. So everybody else is Summer, Moose, and Marty. So he had to nom Summer, he had to nom Moose, and Marty was gonna be the replacement nominee. The goal was to backdoor Marty, period. So basically, he was going into this week to backdoor Marty. He didn't tell Kevin and Helena. So everybody knows but Kevin and Helena and Marty
Mm-hmm.
because they're seen as a team.
Essentially sees Kevin, Helena, and Marty as a trio, basically. And he doesn't want to nominate Kevin and Helena because it's like they don't want Marty to be picked to veto and the back door to be ruined.
So he tells Moose and Summer they're pawns and he nominates them. Moose and Summer gets nommed. I don't even know who played in veto, but just know it wasn't Marty and it wasn't Kevin. So Helena is the only person in the veto who they are worried about winning, and she wins.
She won.
She wins the veto like a bad bitch. I lied. She will never get that status. So she wins the veto. Ooh. And basically, she's like, well, I'm not using it. The fuck? And she doesn't know about the plan until she wins it. She even know after anyway, she doesn't know about the plan, so she has no incentive to win it because she's not a part of this plan to backdoor Marty anyways. Kevin also doesn't know, and then finally, after Helena wins veto, Josh lets Kevin know because that is his master. And so he tells Kevin, like, oh, by the way, there was this plan to get out Marty and da 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 da. So Kevin was like, oh, what? I didn't know that, but hey, we're not using veto because I run Helena.
Oh.
Hello? I run Helena.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. You can hear me?
Yeah.
I got scared. I was like, can I hear? So basically the veto is not getting used. The final noms are going to be Moose and Summer, and basically everyone's like, well, Moose is the bigger threat because Summer ain't doing shit because everybody thinks Summer's not doing anything because she isn't. So really that's the week. It's a straightforward week.
It really is.
We can set up the
pretty
house.
boring.
Huh?
The week was boring because of it.
We can set up how the house is looking. Essentially, there's essentially it's about to be top 8, and there's about to be 3 pairs. So the first pair is Betty and Josh, Gino, JC Lynn, Kevin, Helena, and then the other 2 people are probably going to be Summer and Marty, who aren't really working together. So, and they're probably going to be the first 2 targets, honestly, because the other 3 pairs kind of all are working with each other. Josh is working with Kevin, Helena, and Josh and Betty have a fake alliance with Gino and JC Lynn. But a lot of people are thinking about targeting Gino and JC Lynn next week because they are the biggest threat. So that's good for Summer, and shit, that's good for Marty too, because Helena and Kevin not gonna nominate him, and Josh probably gonna do what Helena and Kevin want to do, and that's not nominating him. So it's looking like Marty might make it a few weeks too. So
I think at this point it's definitely like if JC Lynn wins, she's targeting Summer. Don't necessarily know if she has the votes to do that because she'll likely be next to Marty. She might end up getting Marty out. I think Josh and Betty are definitely targeting the showmans. Kevin and Helena are targeting either Josh or Gino specifically. Marty could do whatever, honestly. He might get himself out. We don't know. And then Summer is also targeting the showman. So most of the eyes are pointed at the showmans. Thank God. I tweeted that earlier. I was like, honestly, if Gino is not the biggest target by the end of this week, I lost all hope for this season. And he is. So I have a glimmer left. And that glimmer is Summer. So
essentially, Kevin is running the game, and whatever Kevin wants is likely gonna happen.
Kevin Lavoisier,
Kevin Giesling,
Kevin Carter Newman, Prather, Mitchell, Reyes,
Wong,
Chen Moonves,
Rogers. So this shouldn't be a short update because baby, we're done updating. We can hop right into the motherfucking ratings. You good?
We can hop right up into it, girl. It's giving a quick girl, grab a
quick 1, 2, 3, grab your cups.
Pocket. I don't know. Something real quick. Something
real cute and real quick. So child, as you see above is child, let me check. As you see above is week 7 ratings and below is week 6. Above is week 6 ratings and below is week 7 ratings or whatever. And we haven't started week 7 rating because it's week 7. So first, we're going to rate Herman as an overall player. This is fun. Lee, how you feel about Herman as an overall player?
So I do feel like Herman is a really, really great player overall. I think he has a really great understanding for the game. Going into it, I honestly did not think Herman would be so game focused and so strategically minded. And he really proved me the fuck wrong because I do think he really ate this season up. If it wasn't for the color of his skin being brown, I do believe that he will have a different trajectory in this game. I've stated several times and I will keep stating it. The reason why Herman among the other Black House guests this season were targeted is because it was under the impression that they were all working together, even though that was not true. So I do think a lot of the moves that he made were shut out because people felt that they could not fully work with him because they thought all the Black people were working together. he shows promise in the game because he's someone that's going to make alliances. He can change people's minds. He has influence. I mean, he was literally almost out the door one veto and then got into like final three deals. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for specific circumstances and Marty getting HOH, Herman does not go home. You know, Josh was 2 seconds away from winning it. So I do think overall, Josh, I'm getting to his ass. Herman overall, he's definitely going to be a 6 for me. I do think in most seasons he could do well because he clearly has a really, really good sense for the game and he knows how to get out of really tough situations. Like he was fighting from the bottom every single week after Kyle's HOH, and he still made it all the way until jury. So, you know, I can't wait to see him on an all-star season, period.
I think Herman is an amazing player. I genuinely think, like, coming in when he won the first HOH, he did everything he needed to do to set himself up. He even got into, like, the sub-alliance that was trying to be created to be the new structure with the boys. He even got into that. So I do feel like Herman is very, very good at being in the majority alliance and being even in the center of it because that's how he set the game up for himself. The only thing that happened was as Lee mentioned, he was assumed to be with a group of people who were all Black because he is Black. And that was not the case. I feel like that's not going to happen in any other season. Really, this is one of the only seasons in Big Brother history that is going to happen because I feel like after this, that whole sphere of the Black people working together will be dismantled. And before this, it was never a fear because there were never enough Black people. So I really can't fault him for that happening at all because this is the only season where that happens. I think in any other season or scenario or cast, or even if this season with the same people happened a year later, he could have won this game because he had the most social capital. He had a very good strategic sense. He was centered in his alliance. He did have a lot of good, strategic implementations throughout the season. There were so many times where he should have went home and he didn't. Like he should have went home he should have been the house target a lot of times. Even the week he went home, it was very, very hard to get him out and it had to be very specific circumstances because no one even wanted to target him that week. Kevin being a very, very good player is the only reason that Herman, I feel a very good player, went home. I really, really like Herman as a player. And I feel like if he ever comes back, he really could win the season. Him getting 10th place is really a shame. I don't think he deserves this at all. It's really just based on the fact that he was grouped with a group of people that he was not with. So with that being said, I'm going to give Herman a 7.5 overall as a player.
Oh, period.
That's going to be that on that.
Period. I mean, hey, he deserved it. He deserved it.
Sure.
Zaddy
Man. Okay. So, let's get into the people who are in the game, which I don't really care about. I'll start with Betty. So Betty's trajectory through this game has been very interesting because she wasn't really in the loop at the beginning. And then when she got pushed with all the Black people, she started getting more and more in the loop because the Black people were forced to work with her. She has a really, really tight bond right now with Josh. She has a fake Final Four with JC Lynn and Gino. But it's kind of real for JC Lynn and Gino because I think, well, no, JC Lynn and Gino now want to take Helena. I don't fucking know. It's a fake Final Four with JC Lynn and Gino. She has a decent relationship with Kevin and Helena, decent enough for them to not want to target her. She's not being targeted by anybody else from what I see. She will have Moose or Summer, whichever one of them stays on her side. So at this point, Betty's not going to be targeted and she's somewhat covered. And if she was a more strategic person, she could be centered in this entire game and she could be on her way to winning. She's just not that strategic. But I see Betty in Final 3 right now. I don't see a reason that Betty wouldn't make Final 3 because the targets are going to be Gino, Josh, Marty, Moose, Summer before her, and that leaves 3 people. So it looks like she's in Final 3, and she can easily be taking the Final 2. Now, if she's taking the Final 2, and for some reason all the Black people are like, well, they grouped us together this whole time anyways, let's vote for her.
Might as
well. So to me, it looks like Betty could win in a certain scenario. So that's automatically a 5 for me. I do feel like Betty is lacking a little bit of like that strategic sense, but she's not even seen as a GOAT as much as someone like Summer's kind of seen more as a GOAT than Betty.
100%.
So for me, I'm going to give Betty a 5.5, actually. I am. And I've been low on Betty. My last week's rating on Betty was a 2.5. Before that, it wasn't nothing but a 3. Like, Betty hasn't been given this praise, but Betty, win this game.
And guess what? sister, we're here for this week because I was also going to give her a 5.5. We're here.
We see each other.
We see each other. No, because I just feel like, and I just want to say, I'm going to take credit here. I've been saying this for a while. I have been Betty Bethlehem Business Bee's biggest supporter since the beginning. I saw this for her. She has now been set up in a very great position. The next people targeted are going to be the showmans, Josh, Summer ass, Marty's ass. She's looking, like Farrell said, to be in a final three position. And I think there's a good chance that she could have the Paris run. I mean, imagine the scenario. Her, Helena, and Kevin, final three. She wins those last two HOHs. Take Helena. What does she do? She wins the freaking game.
She wins the game.
Point blank, period. If she is able to take her, I think in that scenario, no matter what, if she's able to win the final HOH and take one of them, she could potentially win. Because at this point, it's shaping up to be a maybe Summer, Betty, Helena final three. I can see that. Maybe a Betty, Helena, Kevin, maybe a Betty, Josh. You know, in a situation, if she can win that final HOH and be the taker, she can win the game. I think she's proven that she can be good at mental competition. She made all the way to the end in a previous mental comp. I do think she could potentially be a threat moving forward. It's high hopes for Miss Betty. At the end of the day, it's getting to the point where it will take only one comp for her to win the game. So, like I said, I've been seeing it from my girl. I'm really happy for her. I do think she's shaping up to be one of the, I would say she's in the safest position in the house right now, but the house is so fluid, so I don't know. And like Farrell said, she is not fully strategic minded. I think she has great reads. She has a great understanding of the house, and she has a great understanding of where she stands in the house, which is really perfect. She knows that, even though I have this Final Four with Jason and Gino, I have to still target them. Summer, you know, this bitch almost voted me out last week. So really in her mind, it's like, fuck Summer. She can go. She's done with Marty. I mean, she's cool with Kevin Helena, but it's still fuck that bitch Helena at the end of the day. Like, she knows where she stands. And I do think if she wins some comps moving forward, she can really, really earn that respect in the jury. Like, potential winner. I think it's definitely rising up after this week. But honestly, anybody can win next week, put her up, and then it'll be back to 2. Because this house is so crazy. So, but for right now, yes, a 5.5.
Period. Period. How you feel about Gigi?
So, Miss Gigi, like, he's just like, I just be so like, it's like he has good moments sometimes where I'm like, okay, he's good at this game. He has some type of sense. But what I realized about Gino is that he's just not someone that's going to try to, he's not going to try to sway anyone's opinion. If you come to him saying, this is what we're doing, we have these numbers to back it up, he's not going to be like, oh, no, let's do this. He's very much okay with just giving it up. Like, so we mentioned this week he wanted to target Marty. Helena won veto. It quickly began, well, I guess Marty can stay. Jason then found the power, which we'll get into, and she didn't even use it. Like, it's like, I got the promise to get out Marty. All of a sudden now Marty can stay. Personally, I think it's really, it's not smart that he didn't even try to get that veto used. I mean, it is a possibility that it wouldn't have worked, but at the same time, it's like, at least try. I think Marty going home is great for his game because Marty is someone that is going. I think Marty is definitely going to take him out. Like, no matter what, Marty is the one that takes Gino out. Point blank, period. This man has turned on him twice, and you want him in the game. It just doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't understand it. So, do I think this is a successful HOH? No, I do not. Personally, because Moose wasn't even targeting Gino. Moose was a potential ally for Gino. Moose would have targeted Kevin Helena before he targeted Gino. You know what I mean? That's one. You're still kicking out someone who was not going to put you up. So it's just like, honestly, like, I would say, well, no, because he's not even in a good position anymore. I was going to say he's still kind of in a good position, but he's not. He's one of the biggest targets moving forward. This HOH was a bust. So I'm going to bring him back down to I'll give him a 4.5. I don't think this is a really successful week for him at all. I think Marty not going home is bad. I think for sure he either should be in my opinion, he should be targeting Kevin Helena. Like, we're being 100% honest. I think he should be targeting Kevin Helena, Josh, and Betty. Period. And he's targeting because Summer was not gonna really. I think if they spoke to her more, because at this point she has no one, they could have worked something out with her. I feel like maybe if I don't know. I don't think this was smart for them at all.
Yeah, I agree. This was a no for Gino. This is the third week in a row that someone who was going to work with Gino is going home. Jess was going to work with Gino. Her mom was going to work with Gino, and Moose was going to work with Gino. They're all going home, just back to back to back. And he has had a lot of control. Well, he has had most control with a lot of those situations. Her mom should not have went home. Her mom was one of the only people who wanted to genuinely work with Gino. Her
And
mom,
he could have flipped
I
that
genuinely
vote.
feel like if her mom was here, Herman, Summer, Herman, Moose, Gino, and Jason Lynn would actually have a Final Four, and they would actually all be loyal to it because they didn't even want to work with nobody else, anyways. So I genuinely feel like he dropped the ball by letting Herman go, and now he's getting Moose out on his HOH, which isn't good for him, in my opinion, either. Because the only person who genuinely would have been okay with going to the end with Gino is another big player like Herman and Moose. But
Exactly.
now no one wants to go to end with you because you're such a big player.
Yeah.
You can't play the next HOH. And if Kevin has anything to do with it, he'll probably get your ass out because you got Moose out for Kevin. Moose going home is great for Kevin because now I can focus on getting your ass out, Gino. Like, baby, Gino, you did nothing. You know that Marty, Kevin, and Helena are a trio. So if Marty's the biggest threat, he's not the biggest threat to Kevin and Helena because they're a trio. So who are you gonna take out? Who is Kevin and Helena gonna target? And if Marty wins HOH, best believe Kevin and Helena be like, he was gonna backdoor your ass. He was gonna backdoor you. Then what? You're gone. He's gone. So Gino played this week horribly. It's not good. It wasn't good at all. He should have ensured Marty was going home, and he did not ensure that at all. He fucked up very much. So I don't like that for his game. The only good thing about his game right now is the fact that he could win if he makes final two because he's not in a good position because Kevin and Helena don't prioritize him, and neither does Betty and Josh, neither does Summer, neither does Marty. So if no one's prioritizing you but yourself and you can't play the next HOH, what do you have? Nothing. You could win a comp, and if he makes final two, he could win. So those are good things, but that's a very small, like, good thing for him. So I'm gonna have to give him a 4.
Yeah, it was bad for Elmo.
Bad for Elmo. I have to give him 4. Like it's he still has potential because Gino has always like skated through certain things, and if the right person wins HOH, well, I don't know who the right person is because I genuinely think everybody will backdoor Gino next week.
Yeah, Gino.
Except JC Lynn. Well, if JC Lynn was HOH, then it's good for Gino.
Yeah,
I would say, and she could, so that's why it's a 4 and not a 3. Helena. JC Lynn. So I feel like I don't like Helena, bro. Okay. For a while, I've been saying Helena is playing for second place. I want to say it like 2 more times so I can put it in a collage when she gets second place. Helena is playing this game for second place. I just feel like Helena is playing this game for second place. I just feel like second place is going to be what Helena gets. So I feel like everything Helena does is for somebody else. I still feel the same way. At this point, she has just let Kevin take full control. And she has just decided that she's not going to do anything. I don't know. It's weird. Like with Helena, I just feel like she's not doing anything. I like the fact that she's a duo with Kevin because that is good for her, but she should know by this point that she has no capital, and she does know. One thing about Helena is she gonna know. This is like the third time I said she does know this because she had a conversation with Kevin earlier today, and she was like, Kevin, I kind of just feel like I'm not doing enough. Do people think I'm not doing anything? And Kevin was like, no, you're going to be not a threat if you keep doing nothing. She's like, okay. Like, girl, how are you going to win the game? Who is going to vote for you and over who? Who can you go to final two with and win? Nobody, Helena. No one thinks you're doing anything because honestly, she's not. At the beginning of the game, yes, you were doing a lot. You were playing the middle, da da da. But when you chose a side, when you took out Tanisha, and you didn't do anything after that, what do you expect? All you did was hand Kevin the game when you took out Tanisha. That was horrible for your game. And I was saying it, all your stands were trying to say, oh, no. Like, that was good. Like, how was she going to... No! That was fucking ridiculous, and she's a horrible fucking player. Because why would you do that? All you did was give Kevin the win. Helena's a fucking loser. She's not going to win this game. She's going to get second place. I just don't like the way she's playing the game because the way she's playing the game doesn't even line up with the whole entire point of what she was saying. What she was saying was, I need to play the middle so that I can be in the best position. And then she gave that position to Kevin and Josh and then didn't do anything after that. Like, why are you lying? I don't understand. You took out Tanisha for what? Now, is this personal? Yes. Am I mad? Yes. Clearly, I'm bitter. But all personal aside and game only, Helena is not playing a good game. Helena is everything is just happening. Helena is positioned.
I thought you were gonna say something different.
You thought I was gonna get good for her?
Yeah, I thought
No, bitch.
all jokes aside, you know.
Okay, for real.
It's like a great game. No.
Helena is positioned in a very bad position because get this. Next week she's not going to be a target. However, Helena is with Kevin and through Kevin with Josh. She and Josh are losing their connection day by day. It's through Kevin. Helena is only with Josh through Kevin. Helena's not even with Betty. She's only with Betty through Kevin through Josh. She's not with Summer. Summer is being fake with her. And then Gino and JC Lynn didn't even trust them enough to tell them that Marty was whatever. And now she's seen as a trio with Marty. Like, Helena, you're not doing good. If Helena makes final two, she's going to fucking lose the game. With that being said, I'm going to give Helena a 5 because she can make final two. Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry for yelling. I
think at this point, like, it's definitely going on a downward spiral for Helena. I think a lot of the Helena stands have this very false sense of reality when it comes to Helena's game. We have to be really realistic. I tweeted this earlier. Helena and Josh, and I'm gonna get to his ass later, are definitely playing for Kevin to win this game. Like Farrell mentioned, what they're allowing Kevin to do is to take away all of their connections that they can have control over and allowing him to keep the people that he has control over. Helena, you don't have a connection with Summer like that. Your best bet is to create a connection with Moose, who has no one in this game, and use him. But you just want to do what Kevin wants. Like we said, she had wanted to play the middle, but the game has evolved into a thing that she can't even do anymore. She doesn't really have any real allies. Jason and Gina do not care about her like that. Betty damn sure don't like her. Josh told Kevin the other day that he wants to nominate her as a pawn next to Marty. She is now so closely grouped with Marty because she didn't use the veto to get him back door. It's just like her game has just been going down and down and down. Her only positive is that she's connected to Kevin, but it's also her biggest disadvantage because to position himself in a great position, he has to tear down her a bit because she can't be doing good while he's doing good, or there's only could be one winner. And like Farrell said, she's not playing to win. At this point, I don't think she beats anyone. I think Betty and Summer even beats her for the simple fact that people are not respecting her game. People are not respecting her as a player. And she doesn't seem afraid of that at all. Like, you're asking Kevin, am I not doing anything except wanting to do something? What do you think you're doing? You just want a veto and you didn't use it.
Congratulations.
Like, who cares about that? Like, Helena, someone else is going to have to, like, possibly start winning some comps and make some moves. If she doesn't do that, which she doesn't seem like she even wants to do, she's not winning this game. It's really bad for Elmo. So I'm going to give her a 5 as well. For Helena, it's always been a separation of her position is really great in the game, and I think that's where her stands get confused at. Helena is great positioned in the game, meaning that she likely won't go home in many scenarios, but is she there because the work she put in? No. Gino's one of the same people in the game last week, and we all agree that he's not doing shit. So when it comes to Helena, why is there anything different? I mean, I'm the biggest Summer stan in the world, and she's gonna get a low ass score from me because I'm realistic. Let's be realistic here.
Let's be realistic.
You know what I mean? Like, she is not doing all of that, and she's not gonna win unless she steps it up. Point blank.
Period. How you feel about JC Lynn? Wait! Before we get into JC Lynn, y'all, we finna give her a real score.
You know what?
For the first time ever. Okay, go Lee. What you want?
Like, honestly, JC, like, it's no beef for real. Like, I was just being petty with the bitch because she was being petty with me. Like, it is really nothing. Like, I do feel like JC Lynn is still trash at this game. I think she's still a very terrible player, and she's also in a very bad position. It's sad that we're actually giving her a real score the week that she's still in a bad position. Like, last week she was doing good. We should have gave her something then. Oh, well. I do think I'm going to settle at a 4 for JC Lynn. Just because, if I have Gino at a 4.5, I have to put her at a cute little 4 for the simple fact that she's only in the position because of Gino. Her game is Gino. Mm-hmm. That's her game. Staying close to Gino. And now it's creating her to be the biggest target in the game. I do think she has connections. Helena has interest in wanting to keep her. I do think she stays over Gino in the scenario now because everyone is realizing Gino is the biggest target. And that puts Jason in a good position. If Gino goes, Kevin and Helena mentioned they want to bring her in. I don't think Josh and Betty would necessarily. Josh and Betty might still target her, and Summer would still target that bitch. So yeah, Kevin and Lena would bring her in, which is pretty good for her. But other than that, I don't see it for it. I mean, she could also go on a comp run. Now, if she start busting out some comps, and it's like, baby, I gotta get a 5. Because if she can win her way to the end, then she can easily win the game. That's the gag about Jason Lynn. I think Jason Lynn could win this game. Her mom spoke positively about Gino and Jason Lynn because of the impression that because they're winning comps or have the ability to win comps, that they're somehow better at the game. Very 1920s thinking. However, that's the world we live in. So she does have a chance to win if she gets to final 2. And I'm not saying she has a non-zero chance of getting there. I think it's very possible that she could get there. She could also win her way there. And just like a Betty, what if she wins and takes Helena? They're not voting Helena's ass. And at that point, they shouldn't. So, hey, she honestly could go up.
I agree. I think JC Lynn could win the game. I was gonna say last week, but I was mad and I didn't like her last week, and I still don't like her this week. But I think JC Lynn could win the game. I do think she has a good chance of winning the game because the perception is what matters. Even though we know JC Lynn ain't shit and didn't do shit and won't ever be shit and will never be shit and will never be a good player, we do know that the perception of the house guest might be that she actually is a player when she actually is not. She's nothing of the sort. But that perception will help her win the game possibly because people like Herman, who are very focused on comp wins when that's not all Big Brother is, might think that JC Lynn deserves to win the game because she can win a comp, which is ridiculous. But based on ridiculousness, she could win the game. So that's good. That's good. She's in a horrible position and she doesn't do anything to get herself out of good positions. She never will and she never has because she's not a good player. But the fact that she's in this perceived power player kind of esque person, she can win a game. So I don't know if Gino does go next week. Jason Lynn might not go after that because Kevin could be like, Josh could go. It's top 7. Or, and everybody else might be like, Marty's still here. Marty has to go. So who gonna get out JC Lynn? And then JC Lynn and Helena have a final 2. That is one good thing that Helena is doing. She does have a good relationship with JC Lynn. So JC Lynn could bring Helena to final 2 and Helena could get second to JC Lynn instead of getting second to Kevin. So that's good. It's good if she gets second to JC Lynn instead of Kevin because at least it's a woman. So so with that being said, I'll give JC Lynn a 4.5. Even though she ain't doing shit. A 4. She ain't doing shit. 4. That was the highest we gave her all season.
Yeah,
okay.
Earned it.
She earned it. It took her a while. She had to earn it harder than the other person. I'll give it to Jason Lynn because it was going to take a lot for her to get above a 2 for us. So good job. Josh.
Can I get into Josh?
You want to get into his ass first?
I do.
Girl, get into his ass.
I just want to say I'm very disappointed in Josh. At this point, it's getting ridiculous. We have to stop with the realization that Josh might be a good player. I fear that is not the case. I don't really understand if he fully knows the position he's in this game. He had so much influence going into this merge. I mean, before Tanisha went home, he had Jess, he had Tanisha, he had Herman, he had Moose. You notice something? They all are going home. That's a problem. Why are they going home? Because he's doing whatever Kevin wants. He's giving his game away to Kevin. Like I said, this week. Honestly, Summer Ash should be going home, if we're being honest, because Moose is more loyal to Josh. He is Josh's number. And then also with the veto, Josh has influence over Helena. But when Helena won veto, and said she didn't want to use it on Marty, he was like, oh, well, I guess that's fine. I guess it's fine. Marty can stay. I can build with Marty. Why would you be able to build with the man who just nominated you and was the reason why you were backdoored weeks ago? This senile old man has proved to you time and time again he is going to find any reason to want to nominate you. At this point, Josh is now one of the biggest targets in the house. Gino and Jason Lynn are going to target him. I'm pretty sure Marty Ass is going to target him again. And now Kevin and Alina, the people who he's giving his whole game way for, want to target him as soon as next week as well. And he is not even realizing it. He's in here talking to Betty about, well, let's not win any competitions. We don't want to blow things up. Maybe we shouldn't nominate Gino and Jason Lynn. We don't want to blow things up. So you just want to sit your ass there to the end? You think no one's not going to want to take you out? It's like at first it was like in the beginning when he wasn't talking to anybody, he was only cool with Jay. It was like, oh, he has to get his footing, and it's like, well, maybe he's going to turn into that dominant player. He's not. He's not turning into that. The good thing is he has the ability to win competitions. I do think that moving forward, if he gets targeted, he has the highest potential to win veto, and he also has the good potential to win HOH. But like he's been saying, he wants to throw now, and he has admitted this week that he's been throwing. So it's just like there's no real path for him to get to the end at this point. Like now he's being just straight out targeted. At this point, he would have to rely on Betty himself and Summer to win. And is that really going to happen? I don't think so. I don't think so. That's not as consistently, and he needs to. So I am going to bring him down to. I'm bringing him down to a 5. I don't think he's that unsafe. But if let's say Jason Lynn or Marty win the next HOH and they do take out Summer, or hell, even Betty at that point, or hell, it could be him. That's the problem. If one of them win, it could be him. And that's not good for Elmo. So he needs to step it up. Like I said, he's playing this game for Kevin.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Josh is 100% playing the game for Kevin. It was a point where I was like, maybe he's not, maybe he is, maybe he's not, maybe he is. This week, it confirmed it for me because the one thing that he needed to do was get Marty out of this game. And not only did he not influence Helena to use the veto, he threw the veto.
When it was in his best interest for Marty to go home.
And all he had to do was be like, well, Moose and Summer are black, so I'm saving them. Like, I don't know. They've been grouping y'all together all season. Why stop now?
It's not what Kevin wants.
It's not what Kevin wants. So Josh is just not, he's proven to not be all there. He's not doing what he needs to do at all. He's letting the game slip away. As Lee said, all these people going home, it should never have went home for Josh when it was all the way back with Tanisha. If I'm gonna get in Helena asked for evicting Tanisha, I damn sure need to get into Josh asked for evicting Tanisha. The Tanisha vote was because Kevin wanted it to happen, and it was the best for Kevin's game, and he got his minion Helena and his minion Josh to sit there and agree to it when they didn't need to agree to it. All Josh is going to do is be Kevin's tertiary shadow because his number one shadow ain't even you. You'll be in the shadow to somebody else's shadow. Like, I don't know, make it make sense. You're not even the top tier minion.
He chose Helena over you.
You're not even the top. You're not even the head minion in charge. You're the second minion in command,
and you can do what
you want.
Helena's the bottom bitch.
I need to get off Helena because at least Helena is getting her ass ate. Josh ain't even get his. Josh is getting belly rubs, and that's it. Child, Josh, I really don't like what Josh is doing because what Josh is doing is stupid. Josh is letting Moose go. Josh let Herman go. Josh let Tanisha go. Josh let Jess go. Josh is letting everybody go who could be good for his game. Josh was in a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful position. He could have voted out Gino when Jess was nominated next to Gino, and he sat there and let Betty tell him what to do. Betty had to convince him that he needs to get out Gino and JC Lynn. Betty?
After Gino nominated him.
Bro, Josh don't know what the fuck going on. Josh don't know the difference between his ass and a hand. He don't know the difference between a veto and an HOH. He don't know the difference between Kevin and his master.
Ooh.
I said what I said. Hold on. No, I didn't just call. Wait. Take that back. Rewind. I would never do a black man like that ever again in my life. Josh.
Fix it, Jesus.
Fix it. I apologize, baby. But you pissing me off. Because we sat here for 400 years, and the 400 years is up, and you're sitting here letting a white man run you around this fucking house. Stop it! I've never yelled at a girl like this. When my mother yells at me like this, it's because she loves me. No, like seriously. I love you, John. I do, John. I want you to do good.
But I feel like this is very indicative. Like in his pre-game, Josh stated, I would like to play like an Ika, but I would probably end up playing like Cindy, which no offense to my girl Cindy with an S, but she's a weak ass bitch who got ran by the Ika. Kevin's the Ika, and Josh is the Cindy. He predicted it. I mean, it was right there. Proof was in the pudding.
It really pisses me off because if a black person was gonna win, it was gonna be Josh.
And he can still win though. That's the gag. That's why he's not that low. He can still get to the end. He can still win. It's still possible. But his biggest blind spot is Kevin. If he don't get Kevin out, he's not winning. But he will have to realize he has to turn on him. And I think, honestly, he wants to go to final two with Kevin. But I'm not 100% sure. It's either Kevin or Betty.
I'm stressed. I'm actually really stressed. I'm gonna give him a 5. It sucks because I wanted my sisters to do good. My sisters and my brothers to do good. And Josh, like, I need you to like not be dumb. Josh could still win the game, which is why I'm gonna give Josh a 5, because Josh could still win the game. Josh still has the best jury visual. People in jury are most likely to vote for Josh over anybody, in my opinion, which is really, really good. Josh is in a not good position, but he's not in a horrible position because Gino might be targeted before him. Marty might be targeted, so it's not too bad. But it's just he keeps showing me daily and daily he's not going to do what he needs to do for his own game. And at a point, he's just going to get his ass out. If Gino does go next week, Josh's going to go after that. Or if JC Lynn was HOH, who's Kevin to not be like, well, get out Josh? Kevin did say it's going to be Josh or Gino. So if JC Lynn wins HOH, why Kevin wouldn't push for Josh?
Because why does Summer have to go in that situation when Josh is right there?
When Josh is right there. And he's letting that happen. He did not need Moose. Moose going is the worst thing for Josh this week. Out of everybody to go this week,
another huge target that would have been in front of him.
It's a huge target. If Moose goes, who does JC Lynn target? Like, at the end of the day, every time JC Lynn wants to target Summer, she realizes that's not smart because Summer ain't doing shit. What's to say she's not going to do it for the millionth time? She keeps saying the same thing. She could vote Summer out right now. She's not doing it because Moose is a bigger target. If they that's the thing. If they have to nominate Betty or Josh, they're going to take a shot at Betty or Josh because Betty or Josh are the pair. Because if JC Lynn wins HOH, she has to nominate Betty or Josh. So it's going to be fuck it. Josh got to go. That's not good. He can go next week. What the fuck, bro? God, I'm fucking anyways, a 5. Let me take a breathe. Kevin. Whew, Kevin. All right. Kevin is hashtag that girl.
I literally said that in my head.
Kevin is hashtag that girl. I don't know what to tell y'all. I really don't know what to tell you. He's that girl. He's running this game like it's a track field. He's running this game like he is a road runner, and there's a fox chasing him. I don't know what to tell you. Kevin is eating the girls up. He's eating Josh up. He's eating Helena up. He done ate Summer up. Summer finna go. He ruined Summer game. He still got Marty in the game. Gino and JC Lynn doing what he wanted to do. And Betty is doing what Josh want to do, which is doing what Kevin wants to do. Kevin is running this game from top to bottom, to left to right. So, baby, he deserves all of the coins that he has been getting because he's doing what he needs to do. Unlike a lot of these other girls, none of the other girls are doing what they need to do. The only girl that's doing what they need to do is Kevin. Honestly. Well, going into this next week, Kevin is in a good position because he has a fake alliance with JC Lynn and Gino, who are kind of wanting to pick them over Josh and Betty at this point. He has an alliance with Josh, even though he doesn't trust Josh. He has an alliance with Helena, he doesn't trust Helena. And he has control over Betty because he has control over Josh. So that's really, really good. He has control over Marty because Marty will do likely what he wants, because even during Marty's HOH, he did what Kevin wanted, not what Gino wanted. So it seems like he has control over everybody in this game except maybe Summer. But even when Summer won HOH, it don't matter because she's targeting Gino because they just nominated her. So Kevin is good. Kevin is with his grandmother, honestly. At this point, Kevin has the best, strategic sense. So I'm pretty confident that he's going to make it to at least final 3. The issue with Kevin is he going to be taken to final 2? I don't know. If he makes final 3 with Helena, Kevin, and Blank, that Blank wins HOH, they might take Helena. If Jaci Lynn makes it there and wins HOH, she might take Helena. If Summer makes it that final 3 and she wins HOH, she might take Helena. If Josh wins it and he might take Helena. A lot of people might take Helena over Kevin and give Kevin third. I can see Kevin being the strategic genius who got third, the Vanessa, the JC. I said it.
Ooh.
I can see Kevin being that strategic genius who got third. I really can, and that's not good. I can also see if Kevin makes his final 2 with Josh. Like, let's say Josh's final 2 is Kevin, and he takes Kevin. Kevin may not win. Some people are not respecting
Josh.
Some people are not respecting Kevin's game. Even if Gino makes it, or if Marty he wants to go to final 3 with Marty. If Marty wins final HOH and takes Kevin, Kevin could lose.
But he would take Helena.
And he would take Helena. Like I said, a lot of people are taking Helena. Even if they take Kevin, Kevin could lose. So it's still rocky for Kevin. It's not all Poochie and Coochie. So I can't give him a 9 like some of the other podcast girls are doing because I just don't think he can be a 9. But I will give him an 8. And I'm going to leave it at an 8. Mm-hmm. It's hard to be a 9. It's hard to be a 9. You have to be doing really, really good. If Josh had Kevin's strategic sense, or if Kevin had Josh's, likelihood of winning, one of them would be a 9. But it's an 8 right now.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, I didn't want to go too high on Kevin. Like, I kept inching up there because I was like, this house is so fluid. I have to, like, see that influence be proven. And I feel like he has well proved it in a very fluid house. I mean, Kevin has had influence over the last, 4, 5 evictions since Tanisha went home. He has literally incepted everyone's mind in this house. I mean, like you said, everyone wants to pull him in and work with him. Jason and Gino wants to pull him in for a 3. He has Josh, and because he has Josh, he has Betty. He has Helena and Marty. And even though Marty would choose Helena over him in the final situation, he still has control over Marty for the time being, which is very powerful. The only person in the game, like you said, he does not have control over is Summer. Summer has mentioned Kevin being a mastermind threat, but she is more concerned with the showmance. My biggest issue with Kevin comes from the fact that he can't. There's a big chance that he cannot possibly win this game. I do think a lot of people are not respecting him. It's a very, very, very bad thing that Herman says that I will never vote for Kevin. I have no respect for Kevin's game because even though he's playing this very out there and risk-taking game, no one sees it. And it's kind of the beauty behind it. And the same thing, it kind of shows like how good he is at this game. Like, honestly, Kevin's playing a game that I don't want to play. Like, it's just iconic. Like, it's up there. Like, I see a lot of people saying, like, we can't compare him to Dr. Will and Dan, but who the fuck else are we going to compare him to? I think point blank period, Kevin is probably one of the best Big Brother Canadian players already. If he goes home next week, he's one of the best players we've seen in the Canadian version, and he's better than most of the U.S. versions too. Like, if we're being 1,000% honest. Like, so honestly, he has to get his gas this week, so I'm also going to give him an 8. He definitely deserves to win this game, but it's going to take some more flashy moves going forward. Like now, for example, if he can... It depends, though, because he's in a position now, like, if let's say he wins next week and get out Gino, does Gino respect him? You know what I mean? Does her mom respect him? Or because they already they don't have this respect for him, they get disgusted by the move and say, oh, and Marty maybe.
I was just gonna say that they're gonna think it was Marty influencing Kevin.
Yeah.
Because the best thing for Kevin would be to take out Marty himself. Yeah. Honestly, that would earn the respect of the jury, which he could do. Gino could go home next week. Josh could win, or even Marty could win. Someone could win and take out Gino, and then Kevin could win the next one, take out Marty. It would be like, ooh! He doesn't. Who told him to do that? Nobody told him to do that because they think Marty's closer to Helena. So it could help, but
yeah, the danger behind playing behind the scenes so much is that no one really sees it. So and all the big targets are getting out. I mean, the next few are Josh, Marty, and Gino. If he's not the one who get out any of those 3 directly, when it gets to the final 2, if he takes out Summer and Betty, who's gonna give a damn? I mean, if he wins to take Helena, I can see Helena win this situation because it's like, well, no, and that's well, honestly, that's the thing. He could be Helena. It's smart that it's his final 2, but can you win your way there? I mean, he won the video last week. She won the video this week. It's possible, but
I will say his gameplay is kind of giving Tyler when it comes to the jury does not know you're doing good. The reason Tyler didn't win is because a lot of the jury did not know that he was playing them. They didn't know he's the reason Herman got out. They don't know he's the reason Tanisha got. No one knows Kevin got Tanisha out. Nope. When Kevin did get Tanisha out, no one knows Kevin got Herman out. They don't know this, and it's similar to some of those other players who they make it to the end, but people just didn't know. Well, really, honestly, it's only really happened to Tyler in my eyes, where it's like people just didn't know. Honestly, the jury just didn't know, and that could happen to Kevin, and he can make final two and just get second because they just didn't know. Oops.
Yeah.
Sorry, babe. Sorry, hoes hate me because I'm that girl. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
And also, like, his gameplay is just also not good for, I feel like, the Canadian franchise. The Canadian franchise, they put a lot of value in the big move and the big flashy, big move. And Kevin's not doing any of this. He's playing smart.
He is.
But
playing smart don't get you to win in Canada. It doesn't. It's very important to be a big player. And I said this earlier. I don't remember who it was by, but on one of the earlier ones, I was talking about someone who was playing low key. It could have been Helena. And I was like, you can't win Big Brother Canada like that. You just can't. You're never going to get respected in the Canadian Big Brother household if you are not playing hard. You see how Summer, people know Summer is a good player, but they don't care because she's not playing big. She's not winning comps. She's throwing the comps. She's doing all of this. They don't like that. Helena, Kevin, Summer, like, y'all are not, they don't like that. How do you feel about Marty Marv?
I think Marty is a very senile old man. I don't like him at all. For the simple fact that he can win comps, I guess he has some value in the game. But at this point, he's just a piece.
He is.
I don't even think he can win at this point because he's just so ridiculous. Like, it's like if he gets to the end and they vote him, I will write this season off. I will never talk about this season again. So I'm definitely going to keep him at that too, for the simple fact that I don't know his win equity lies right now. I think there is a universe somewhere that he wins, and I hope with a God we're not living in it. But he has no real strategic ability. The man is just in the clouds. I honestly think something is wrong with him and he needs to be taken out.
I think we're in the universe that Marty wins the game. I do. I think next week Gino will end up probably going home. After that, Kevin could easily just get out Josh. And at that point, Kevin wants Marty in Final 3. So if he wants Marty in Final 3, and Marty makes Final 3, Marty wins HOH, takes Helena, Marty wins. Marty is 3 weeks away and only 2 comps because he doesn't have to necessarily win next week HOH. Marty doesn't win next week HOH. Summer wins it. She's taking out Gino. Gino and Marty. Gino's going home. And then after that, all he has to do is win 3 comps and he wins the game. Marty is good at comps. Honestly, I think we're in the universe that Marty might win the game. And I have Marty on my draft. So it's good with me. The only downside is that he is a senile old man. But honestly, at this point, I don't even care, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. Summer is doing horribly. I don't care. Like, girl, bye. Go home. Like, I'm just done. So if Marty wins, Marty wins. I think Marty can honestly win the game. I don't think he's a good player. I think he's a bad player. He's very kind of like, not stable when it comes to the gameplay at all. I don't think he's in a good position because people do want to target him, but I do think he's in a better position than he was last week because people want to target Gino more than him now. He didn't get taken out this week because he has people who don't want him to get taken out because he is their piece. Being a piece is good, just like how Josh is a piece. I think the positivity of Josh being a piece for Kevin is similar to the positivity of Marty being a piece for Kevin because either they make it to Final 3 and win the Final HOH, they can win the game. Period. Or even Final 2. Like, even if Kevin's in Final 2 with either of them, they could still win the game. And I think that's good for Marty. The issue is that Marty just doesn't have as many allies as Josh, and he's not as well positioned. But I'm going to give him a 4, honestly.
No, you made a lot of good points. I want to give him a 3.5.
Okay. Yeah, like, we're not gonna get into it no more. I don't like him. Moose. Oh, Moosey Boo, my little baby.
Oh my god, not this.
I love Moosey Boo so much. Anyways, I love Moose a lot, as you see, but sister is probably going home. It's bad for her. I really think she's about to be voted out and in the jury house with her girlfriend Herman, and her girlfriend Herman are gonna have a wonderful time in the jury. Yeah, Moose, it's bad for him. He's played from the bottom from the beginning of the game. It's really, really hard. He hasn't tried hard enough, I feel like, to get out of that rut. And I feel like he hasn't tried hard enough to like really solidify anything, which is why he got in such a booty hole position that he did. He also really needed Herman to stay. He tried for that, I will say, but it just there's always something more I feel like Moose needs to be doing, and he's not doing it. He's kind of just sitting there lounging around some of the time. So that's not good for him. And he's probably going home, even though he wasn't the target this week. But I can't give him too good of a score because he didn't really do much. He's campaigned, and the campaigns have kind of worked here and there. He's a good campaigner. But I'm gonna just give Moose a 2.5 and let him bow out. No, I'm gonna give him a 3 and let him bow out. I'll give him a 3.
Yeah, no, I like Moose, but sadly, it was never going to work for him. I mean, even before Kyle went, all KKK on the girls and pushed the Black people out of the alliance, he was still not in the best position because everybody named Mama was talking about how paranoid he was and how much he was walking around her house talking and throwing targets on people. Like, it was always going to be bad for Moose. I always saw him in this position. I mean, him getting in this far is. I mean, it's that Rohan position. He was that Rohan archetype, He's getting the similar position, second in jury, So it is what it is. Like player-wise, like Farrell mentioned, he could have put in a lot more work, but at the same time, he was kind of written off as someone to work with a long time ago. His path was always playing from the bottom, and I feel like his life finally ran out. It's definitely going to be a 3. There's not much to say because I just, I saw this happening eventually. I knew, as soon as all that shit happened back in Kyle's week, I knew there was no way Moose wins this game. Like, if he didn't go home that week, he was going home some other week, and this is the week.
Yeah. This last girl got my feelings in the mumble.
My sister.
You can talk about your sister first.
Summer Hive. We lost. Our sister got nominated this week. It was bad for Elmo. Like, it was bad. Like, Summer, like, we're rooting for you, and we're still rooting for you. Don't ever get it twisted. It's just, she is just not in a good position at all. And the issue with Summer right now is that I think she has this false sense of security in the house. I do think she thinks she's safer than what she is, and I think she might think that she has more influence than she actually does. I do think she thinks that she can kind of influence Kevin a bit, and she does it. I think before this week, she thought she could influence Gino, and she could not. Personally, I'm glad that she was nominated this week because I wanted her to see, no, bitch, you cannot trust that white ass man. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Like, so I'm kind of happy that happened. She's kind of on track, but honestly, the real enemy is Kevin, and she knew that, but now she wants to go after Gino, which just shows more that she's not doing what she really needs to be doing. I don't think Summer is potentially out of the winner circle. She has this personality that it's really easy to see her as a dominant player. And it's like, if she gets a few comp wins in, she could also win the game. Like, let's say next week she get out one of the showmans, power move right there. She's already seen. I think she will already be seen as someone who can win the game just that quick. And there's even more competition to come. So Marty has to go. Josh has to go. And like, if she's able to get herself to the end, I do think she can win, but she would have to win herself there. And she has not proven to be able to do so. My sister says she's been throwing comps. At this point, girl, I don't think it's throwing. People getting pissed out in the house because she's been trying to take credit for Herman with the veto. Because she been trying to say, I threw it to Gino because I knew Kevin could beat him. Yeah, girl. Half of my sister. Biased aside, but I will say, I do think, like I said, she's definitely not the most endangered person in the house. I do think she is more on the safer side. Because she's not connected to anyone and she's not seen as a big threat, I don't think many people are going to target her. Like this week, it's not even a consideration that the vote is going to flip. It's Moose. It's been Moose. They'll talk about it and then they'll be like, no, it's Moose. Like, so that's a positive for her. And she still has time to turn it on. So I'm going to give her that 4. because I think there's more potential for her. Like I do think, let's say if she gets an HOH next week, I think she could get herself back into a pretty decent position, a position to where she could win the game. You know, so we'll just have to see.
Yeah, I do think Summer could make Final Four. And honestly, for Summer, let's say Summer just doesn't win, makes Final Four, and then wins the last 2 comps like Paris. Summer won the game, honestly. Like I do feel like the jury will respect her. They say all day long they don't, but Herman already said Herman in the game, it was Summer's not doing good. Summer's not doing right when he went home. I respect Summer. I'm probably gonna vote Summer. If Gino goes home, he's probably gonna vote Summer. If Jason Lynn is there, she's probably gonna vote with them and be like, you know what?
Especially next to who she's next to. Like if she's next to
yeah. Even if she's next to Kevin, I
next
can see Summer winning. If she's next to Helena,
next to Betty, she probably gets her mom moves to Jason and Gino.
Yeah. And that's enough. Like Summer really is, I do think she could win the game if she makes it to the final 2. I think her problem is going to be making it past that final 4, final 3 hump because no one wants to bring her to the final 2 at this point. Kevin has talked about maybe the move is to bring Summer, but he's
but not. Then should just be a GOAT.
Yeah, he's not sold on that. But honestly, if she makes it to final 3 with Kevin and Helena and she wins HOH and takes Helena, like I said, she won the game.
She wins the game.
So it's like Summer, I think Summer could win. I just don't think that her delusion is like not gonna like if she wins, it's gonna be by accident, Loki. Like it's not gonna be that I need to get out Kevin now and I need to get out Gino now, and it's gonna be oops, I won.
She's not playing the game board clearly at all.
And that's good. And I will say, what is good about Summer's game is that since she played the pre-jury so well, she is going to be respected somewhat. You see how Helena has zero respect and nobody gives a fuck? Summer, it's not like that. Herman genuinely would be okay with voting Summer. He thinks Summer played a good game because she played the pre-jury so well. Even though she's not doing good right now, if she ends up making it to the end, she has so much stuff in the pre-jury that can make people be like, okay, we know Summer's hashtag that girl. It took us so long to nominate her. You know what I'm saying? So she has potential, but she's just not in anything. She's not in any in-game plan. There's 2 final 4s, there's 3 final 2s, there's 3 final 3s, and she's not in any of them. She's not in the final 4. She's not in the final 3. She's not in the final 5. She's not in the final 2. She's not in anything. She's just sitting there and she's just nothing. But that could also be good and it could help her. But she's not active. She's not doing anything. She's fucking flopping around. So I'm gonna give her a 4.
Yeah. I think the best thing is I think she would have one of the best stories when she get to final 2. It's like everyone knows I lost my ally here and I played alone and I fought to the end. And it can be a really respectful story. And like I said, like her and Betty are really in that Paris position. If they're able to get there and win out and take Helena and take Kevin, they could win because Helena and Kevin are respected. So it's not out for my sister. And I'll tell you this right now. If Summer wins this game, there will be no bad talk about Summer. There will be no bad talk about Summer. If y'all think I'm getting on this podcast and draft Summer the winner of PPCan 10, you are out of your motherfucking mind. I will never speak about this girl being a bad player again. I'm letting you know right now. If Summer Say Less wins this freaking season, I will never speak badly on my sister. This week has never happened. I will delete the video. I will.
The video will get deleted.
Delete it.
It will. Let me put these girls in order real quick so I can see the order.
King Kevin at the top as he should be.
King Kevin at the top as he should be. Look at Betty.
This is so dark-sided.
Look at Betty.
Betty, my sister. Sister.
Look at Betty.
Oh my God, this is so nasty. You mean to tell me Jason and Gino in the top 5 and the top 6?
Oh God.
It's accurate though. It's accurate. I think this is a really accurate list.
I think it's a really
Betty can be questionable, but I think
Betty just has a lot more likely chance to win than Helena and a more likely chance to make it than Josh. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, she's safer than both, I feel, at this point.
Safer than both and can win over Helena. Helena can't even win. It's accurate. Gino, Jason Lynn right in the middle. But they probably gonna go home. Summer nominated, but we didn't even mention the fact she was nominated. She's not going home.
Not going home. Like it wasn't the question.
Not going home. Marty.
The girls at the time when I was talking about Summer finna go. And I understand for the girls who only tuned in for Summer, which me on the low, it's hard for us. These last few weeks have been hard. I understand. I truly get it. But our sister is not going home anytime soon. Sadly, she's not that bad of a player.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Our girl is doing bad, but sadly, she's not that bad of a player.
Yeah, she's not. Dang, it's pretty accurate. Look at Gino, just up there.
Same position as last week too.
Same position. Good job, Betty. Good job, B. I love Betty.
My sister.
Child, so Kevin probably gonna make it to the end of this game. I don't really know. I'm not sold that he's gonna win. I'm really not, because BB Can, you gotta do a lot to win. They be doing the most over there. So honestly, it's looking like somebody at Final 3 gonna sneak in, win the final HOH, and win over Kevin. That's what I'm gonna give. That's my prediction right here. But Kevin still is the hashtag that girl of the season. He is the one who's running the season or whatever. Let's get into, what are those things called that we do? Our draft. Okay.
I'm losing Moose this week, child.
You're losing Moose.
We're gonna be tied 4-4.
We have 4 and 4. I feel like we kind of have the same. Okay, let me put it like this. I feel like Gino and like Marty are kind of like similar in that they are probably going to be targets and they could go home. But if they make it to the end, they could win. I feel like Summer and Helena are similar as to where they're not respected, but if they make it to the end, they could win. Like Jason Lynn and Betty are similar where if they make it to the end, they will win. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like we kind of got the same situation going. Because Moose is going home. We kind of got the same situation going. I think it's about what and what. I fear it's about what and what. I will say, Kevin is, I think Kevin is most likely to make it to the end. And I think Betty could make it there. So I will give you the edge. Mm-hmm. But if JC Lynn make it there and win HOH, she could win. If Marty or
I think when Moose leaves, anyone could win except Helena. I think Helena gets second to anyone here.
I agree.
And I think Betty, Summer, and Kevin can only beat Helena.
I agree.
Well, they might be able to beat Jason Lynn considering circumstances, but we'll have to see.
It depends. I think right as of now, those 3 could only be Helena.
And none of the girls can beat a guy, I don't think. Not this year.
I don't think so either.
Well, maybe.
Kevin. They could be Kevin.
Summer, Betty, and Jason Lynn might beat Kevin. Yeah,
Helena can't beat anybody. Helena's going to lose. So I only have 3 people, basically, because Helena's going to lose. So my 3 people, I honestly, if Marty doesn't go next week, I have hope for Marty because Kevin was Marty in Final 3. I have hope for Josh because if Marty has to go, Josh could probably make Final 3. And I have hope for Jason Lynn because she's not either of the people who are being talked to get gone. So hey, because if Gino goes and then they got to get out Marty and Josh, JC Lynn is in top 5 and she's great at comps. She's the best person left at comps. So unfortunately, JC Lynn can win the game. I don't know who's gonna win.
We really we're just going to see him. Yeah, my team at all of them.
We are even. Steven. Child, that's it. We just gonna.
That's it, Tiana.
That's it, Tiana.
That's the hour.
I know. I thought it was gonna be a short one, baby. We have to get into the tea. We have to say purr. Y'all. I'll just say Survivor. Y'all, check us out. Hold on. Y'all, check us out or whatever, because we be talking about Big Brother Canada every damn week. We be talking about Survivor every week. We be talking about X on the Beach every other week. And when the circle come on, when the circle come on.
I want her too. When it come on?
Child, the circle on?
No,
when the circle come on?
Hey.
Okay. When the circle come on.
Canada ends.
We only talk about the circle. So we're going to be talking about the shits. So get into it. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts. It's also on Spotify Podcasts or whatever. And check us out on Instagram and Twitter. Follow us and get us. Start retweeting our stuff. Start retweeting our stuff. What are y'all doing?
Share us. Let the girls know.
Share us. Like this video. Comment under the video. Tell us what you feel about your people or whatever. I don't know. Shit. Let me say this at the beginning.
Hey, how y'all going? How's
going? That's it. Bye. Toodaloo.